Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to this lesson. So in today's video, I just want to talk about seat height and how important is it to be able to groove and express yourself on the drums. And for me, I think it's very, very important and often overlooked. To me, it's really like the drum stool and how you sit on it is really the grounding thing on the drum set. It's really like the roots of a tree. Without it, you can't balance and you can't be comfortable playing the drum set. It allows you to move your right and left foot freely, and it allows you to stay centered at the kit and to move around. Now, if you're not balanced when you're sitting on the drum stool, and I'm going to talk about different ways that you could be unbalanced, what happens is that you feel uncomfortable. And what this does, when you feel uncomfortable physically, then you feel uncomfortable mentally because you try and fix this while you're playing. So let's say if you're unbalanced and you're having trouble executing something, then you're going to start thinking about it. What can I do to fix it? And once you start doing that, then it takes you away from the present moment, feeling in yourself and hearing the music and expressing yourself fully, which is what is needed to really play with a really deep groove. Whatever takes you away from the present moment when you're playing, if it's something physical or mental, this will kind of hold you back from really expressing yourself. Like groove-wise and feel-wise, and also idea-wise, whatever you want to play. So let's first talk about the drum stool and the seat height. Okay, so what I would suggest for you guys to do when I give this to my students is I don't tell you what height you should put your seat at. It's important to just experiment for yourself. So play low, then bring it up a bit higher, then bring it up a bit higher, bring it up a bit higher, and then see what are the different feelings that you have when you sit low and when you sit really high. The good things, the bad things about it. And when you do this and try different heights, try it for, could be like for an hour at each height. Try even for a few days you could do it. So this is like something over a long period of time where you could try and experiment. And I still experiment with this just to see how it affects me when I play low or when I play high. And what I've noticed for myself is I try to place the drum stool the highest that I can while still feeling comfortable. Because you see some drummers really let their legs are kind of facing down like that, and it seems like they're comfortable. That's great for them. But we're all made differently. Some of us are tall, some of us are short, some of us are heavier, some are lighter. So you really have to see what's good for your body. But one thing that I did notice is that when you do sit higher, if you could see here, okay, here I'm sitting, maybe my thighs here are a bit more than 90 degrees to my leg, okay? But if I just let my knees fall down here like this, what happens is it straightens out my body naturally. I'm not doing anything. It kind of lets me sit a lot straighter. And when I bring this back up again, I kind of hunch forward a little bit. And I have really bad posture, so I'm really trying to work on this and to find the best height where I still feel comfortable. So that's one thing, just experiment with it. The next thing that is really, really important is how you sit on the stool. And the way to sit on the stool is that you should feel all of your weight on your butt weighing down into the stool. So all the weight of your whole body, of your upper body, should be really you should feel it pushing down into the stool. And not half of it on your feet like this. If I put my toes up, as you can see, like this, then half of it is on my feet and half of it is on the stool. And what happens is, what happens when you do this is, as you could see, it makes me go forward like this, and it creates an imbalance of me playing on the drums like this. And also what it does is, it doesn't allow me to fully have my legs free to play, because I'm pushing down on them. So it makes it harder to use my both feet. So the best way that I found for me is to really bring my heels down like this, and as soon as I do that, I sit back and relax, and all my weight goes on the stool. Another thing is, don't sit like on the full stool. Sit with your butt at the front end of the stool so your legs are free to move and they're not obstructed. The upper part of your leg is obstructed by the stool. Okay, so sit to the edge where you're comfortable, like not totally on the edge, but you know, maybe 3/4 of the way up on your stool, and experiment with this also for yourself. Then the next thing is, I suggest, this is really comfortable for me, and look, not everybody plays like this. There are amazing drummers that play and they dig the beater into the head, or they play with their toes up on the hi-hat also. But what I found for me the most comfortable is when my heels are down on the pedals, because it really allows me to just be more centered on the drum stool, and it allows me to lift my legs very easily without my body moving this way, which would really get in the way if I'm playing. So try and practice just with your bass drum. So you hit it and then let your heel fall like this. And not like this. And it stays up there. Actually, sound-wise, it's better. The bass drum is more open. And I'm not saying that you could never dig the bass drum into the head. I do sometimes for a sound. Just if I want a more muted sound, I'll do that. But most of the time I play like this. And the same thing for the hi-hat. So the hi-hat, my foot is down like this. So if I'm playing a groove, okay, I'm not doing this. Like that. A lot of my students tap their foot while they're playing. What this does is creates an imbalance. It kind of pushes you this way because you're putting your weight onto the hi-hat. And not only that, it changes the sound of the hi-hat because you're constantly pushing down on it. So another thing I want to show you guys about how you sit and how it could affect now the bass drum is how far or how close you're sitting to the bass drum. So if I sit, let's say with my knee over my foot, so I'm going to move in like this to do that. Now look what happens to the bass drum beater. It gets very close to the head. Now if I move back, as you can see how far back it moves away from the head. Now this is very important because if you're playing like this, every time that after a hit that you're going to let your heel fall on the ground, the beater is going to be close to the head and a lot of times touching the head and making strokes on the head that you don't want. And what this causes is like there's going to be a low end rumble in the bass drum. The mic is going to pick up always this low end little dribbles happening, and it doesn't allow the sound engineer or even you, whatever you're recording, to be used because there's a constant low end mush of like low end, you know, happening in the bass drum. And you're probably going to have to gate the bass drum just to get the loud notes, which could make it sound, you know, unnatural if you don't want that. So this is another important thing, is to place your bass drum at a distance where your knee is a little bit behind your foot. So it's kind of not at a 90-degree angle, but a little bit like this. Because it allows, when you do rest your foot, the bass drum beater to come back. So you would have to set up your bass drum a little bit further away and bring everything else in, the rest of the kit, closer to you, so it's easier for you to play it. Now, just another thing that I do, just to make sure that all of my weight is going on my drum stool and that it's not pushing down through the toes or in my feet, is I just play a beat with a lot of stuff happening, you know, pumping eighth notes on the hi-hat with my foot, and maybe a busy pattern on the bass drum, just to see. This is how you could experiment with different seat heights and also with balance, just to see how balanced you are when you sit. It's a good beat to do it and to feel how it feels. So just something like this. So guys, hope you enjoyed this lesson. I know it's something very simple, but it is something that is very, very important. It's really helped me a lot to play with a deeper feel and to express myself. And it's also helped a lot of my students out. I think most of us, when we play, there's a tendency to tense up, especially in the feet. And you want to lean forward to make sure that you're, you know, getting everything that you want to get out on the drums. But the best way is just to sit back, relax, and to do that, it's really the heels down and all of the weight on your stool. So I hope you guys enjoy this lesson, and I wish you all a great week, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care.